Hello everyone. Some people sincerely believe that all the unusual inhabitants of our planet went extinct along with the dinosaurs. Or a couple or 3 million years later when they were eaten by our distant ancestors. Either way, people believe that they won't meet animals like that today, but that is just because they don't know where to look. In today's video, we will show you the most unique inhabitants of the Earth. Are you ready? Then let's get it on. Yuki the giant wolf. Wild animals should live in the wild. They are not pets, and even hybrids shouldn't live with humans. This story features a giant wolf known as Yuki. Numerous owners simply couldn't cope with the wolf, even when he was young. As a result, Yuki was abandoned when he was 8 months old. The animal was just too big, so the owner simply sent him to be put down. Fortunately, workers at another shelter, the Shy Wolf Sanctuary, intervened and saved Yuki. Despite all he went through, Yuki was actually quite amusing. He often steals clothes from visitors and then plays with them for a long time. But somehow the clothes remain intact. Furthermore, the wolf himself returns the stolen items to the owners. At the same time, as a real wild predator, Yuki makes sure that no one he dislikes comes into his territory. And yes, it seems that Yuki is still growing. Today, he's big enough to compete with some prehistoric animals. But what's the reason? Well, technically, Yuki is 87.5% wolf, 8.6% Siberian Husky, and 3.9% German Shepherd. Perhaps it was this combination of genes that made the animal so huge. Humphrey the bull. Most people imagine bulls as large and powerful animals, sometimes even fierce. It's better to stay away from such animals if you don't want to get hurt. Well, get ready to destroy some stereotypes. Some bulls are no bigger than a big dog, and sometimes they're even smaller. This breed is the miniature zebu, and the absolute record holder among them is a bull named Humphrey. Humphrey's only 67.6 centimeters tall, and he's considered small even for his species. His relatives are usually 30 centimeters taller on average, and even Humphrey's parents are taller, and he's not a calf either. It's not hard to make that mistake though. When the current owners bought the bull at auction, they thought that they were buying a calf. It wasn't until they actually collected the documentation that it became clear that Humphrey was actually 2 years old, and therefore it was an adult animal. An adult animal that looks like a cute little baby. However, this size does not prevent him from enjoying his life. He gets along well with other miniature zebus and dogs who just seem to love him. Cocoa Puff the rabbit. Usually, parents let their child have a rabbit or a hamster because they believe they are small animals that don't require special care. They'll just sit in a cage, no hair around the house, unless we're talking about Cocoa Puff. Lindsay Smith from Seattle bought this rabbit for her kids. He doesn't have a cage, so he just hops around the house freely. Most often, he plays with a 3-year-old daughter Macy, who's become a true friend of the animal. From day one, they've had a very special relationship. She followed the rabbit everywhere, and he lets her hug him and even lie on top of him like a pillow.
Cocoa Puff walks you. You don't walk Cocoa Puff.
2-year-old Cocoa Puff is only slightly inferior to Macy in size, so more than a pet, it is a game partner. A big, fluffy partner with charming ears. Rabbits of this breed, known as the continental giants, usually grow to 1 meter in length and weigh up to 12 kilograms, but larger individuals have also been found. So, the rabbit can grow even more. So far, it weighs only 8.5 kilograms. By the way, the family spends over $200 a month supporting Cocoa Puff. The rabbit needs constant care and tends to chew on furniture and carpets. It's even harder to take care of this giant rabbit than a dog or a cat, but the family seems to have no regrets. Bertie the tortoise. Perhaps you, as well as many others, think that tortoises are the slowest animals on Earth. They are pretty slow and seem to be thinking about every step. However, there are racers among these tortoises who just can't live without speed and wind in their face. Okay, we are exaggerating a little bit. Meet Bertie. This tortoise is officially considered the fastest in the world, among other tortoises, of course. So says the Guinness Book of World Records. Bertie was the fastest among his kin. In July 2020, 2014, he sped up to 28 centimeters per second, which is about 1 kilometer per hour. During this super fast race, Bertie beat the previous record set back in 1977, which belonged to a tortoise named Charlie. It's said that if Bertie had run a 100-meter race, he would have covered the distance in 6 minutes, twice as fast as the average tortoise. But it won't happen anyway. Even the fastest tortoise won't crawl for that long. The proud owners of Bertie, Marco and Janine Calzini, explained that when they found out about Charlie's record, they immediately tested Bertie's abilities, and he was able to break the record. That's when the couple applied and waited, and although they were worried that Bertie would not want to perform, everything went well. Oklahoma Sam the donkey. Oklahoma Sam is an American mammoth jackstock breed, but don't worry, these donkeys have nothing in common with mammoths. However, looking at Sam, you can easily believe that she's related to some ancient giants because she is huge. Oklahoma Sam is 155.45 centimeters tall, which is an absolute Guinness Book record. The record holder lives in California with her owner Linda Davis, a macaw, a duck, a goose, and 4 cats. Other animals don't even notice Sam's size and really like to play with her, and when Sam doesn't race with them, she can usually be found sleeping in the shade. Sam really likes to sleep and eat, and you know, we totally get it. Linda calls Sam her soulmate, and even the story of how they met is pretty special. When the woman decided to get a donkey, she wanted a baby donkey, not an adult animal. Linda found a suitable breeder in Oklahoma, contacted him, told him she wanted a donkey for her 49th birthday, and asked him to help her choose. In return, the breeders sent her some pictures, and when Linda started looking at them, she immediately fell in love with Sam. She realized that this was the donkey she'd been dreaming about. The woman didn't know Sam was going to be a record breaker at the time, but she says she's very happy about it. Poncho Villa, the Texas Longhorn. Texas Longhorns are known primarily for, well, their long horns. These animals are believed to be the descendants of the first cattle brought to the New World by Christopher Columbus and Spanish colonizers. Among other things, Longhorns can easily withstand drought, have a very calm character, and vary in color, except that all this somehow isn't that interesting when you see their huge horns. A bull named Poncho Villa even made it into the Guinness Book of Records thanks to his horns. No wonder, because their length from tip to tip is 323.74 centimeters. That's more than twice the length of a grand piano. It's hard to even imagine how you can hold such a rack on your head and not fall at every step, but the bull somehow manages to do it. Poncho lives on a ranch in the small town of Goodwater, southeast of Birmingham, Alabama. The bull was about 4 years old when its owners noticed that Poncho's horns didn't bend like they should, and kept growing sideways, growing and growing and growing. We agree that these huge horns look daunting, but the owners of Poncho Villa say he is a very affectionate and friendly pet.
One more, please.
Poncho loves guests, and the neighbors constantly come to visit the record breaker, and at the same time feed him his favorite treats: apples, carrots, and marshmallows. Samson the cat. People love cats, and Samson is no exception. He has 222,000 followers on Instagram, but not just because of his soft paws and cute face. The fact is that Samson is a giant cat, the largest in New York, and there's a good reason for that, by the way. Samson weighs 12.7 kilograms and could easily be mistaken for a dog. This giant cat, which looks a bit more like a lynx, grew as much as 1.22 meters long. At the same time, the giant doesn't have a single gram of fat. He's a healthy, happy, tender, and very, very big cat.
Happy Saturday.
Samson needs about 6 cans of cat food a day, and his thick coat requires about $120 each month to be taken care of. Also, due to the size of the giant, no cat carriers are suitable, so the owners have to use a dog carrier. Sometimes the owner walks the streets of New York with Samson. The cat has its own stroller too. Imagine the surprise of passers-by who expect to see a baby, but instead find a huge Maine Coon. Bombell the horse. When it comes to small horses, people usually think either colts or ponies. But Bombell is quite different. He is an adult, but is recognized by the Guinness Book of Records as the smallest horse in the world. He only measures 56.7 centimeters from hoof to shoulder blades. However, it's claimed that the animal belongs to the Appaloosa breed, which grows to 142 to 163 centimeters on average. So, Bombell is really tiny. He lives in Poland on the territory of a horse factory in Lourdes. The owners, Patrick and Katarzyna Zielinski, first saw the colt in 2014 when he was only 2 months old. Even then, Bombell was slightly smaller than it should be, although his parents were of normal size. And then he just stopped growing at all. But he did grow a round belly, which made the miniature horse look like a pom-pom or a bubble. In fact, that's why he's called Bombell, because it means bubble. Bombell's a very friendly guy too. The Zielinski family believe that their pet has a big heart. Every month, Bombell is taken by his owners to a local hospital where he cheers up little patients. The children enjoy playing with the friendly little horse, leaving their fears behind, and adults don't cease to be amazed at how bizarre nature is sometimes. Psst, dude, are you looking for new technologies and great gadgets? Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then visit TechZone and you'll find all this and more. The link is in the description. You interested? Great.